So Elijah did as the Lord told him. It's important. Elijah did as the Lord told him. And he camped beside Cherith Brook, east of the Jordan. The ravens brought him bread and meat each morning and evening, and he drank from the brook. I want to pause for a minute. Just think about it. Look at how supernatural that was. Look, God's plan is mapped out, but it's only mapped out through his guidance for you. The plan is mapped, but it's up to you whether you're gonna follow his guidance so that he can do what he want to do in his plan. His guidance, though, requires your obedience and your trust in him. That's all he required from Elijah. He just required Elijah to be obedient. Elijah, when when Elijah followed God's plan, he ain't had to worry about where he was going to get no water from. He ain't had to worry about where he was going to eat. He ain't had to cook. He ain't had to go hunt. Y'all need to help me up in here. When he followed God's plan, went there and all he had to do was just lay by the brook, talk to the Lord and sing spiritual songs and stuff like that and wait on the ravens. And stuff. It was special delivery. Stuff in there. When God make the provision for you, when God give a plan to you, God has already made the provisions for you. Look, his plan includes all the ingredients to take care of you and to protect you along the way. God hid Elijah and sustained him. God knew the enemy were going to be looking for him because they were mad with him. But God hid him there. Right there, it was important that he went there because anywhere else the enemy may have been able to find him and run up on him, but they couldn't find him right here, right? So God hid Elijah and sustained him naturally and supernaturally. He sent him to a brook where he satisfied Elijah's thirst, and he put a bird on assignment to bring him breakfast and dinner. Look. Just think about it. The bird brought him bread, and the bird brought him meat. Now, when I was thinking about this last night, Elder Pettis, I was thinking, well, how the bird bring him bread? And he brought him meat. The scripture specifically says it. It didn't just say he brought him food. The scripture said the bird brought him bread and meat. Give us this day. Somebody need to help me up in here. Up in here. Bread represents the word too, right? So even while God had him here, somebody need to help me up in here. God gave him bread that was symbolic of the word, with everything going down except his word. And this bread is symbolic that I'm with you, Elijah. I'm giving you bread. I'm giving you my sustaining word that will keep you until such time. And then he brought him some meat because your body needs some nourishment, right? You need something to eat. And he gave him some water because you can't live by just bread and meat. You got to have some water up in. Your body can't live but so long without water. God took care of all the necessary essentials that Elijah had. Then I want to believe that in the morning he brought him pancakes and bacon. Somebody need to help me up in here. Then in the evening, he brought him some rolls and a pork chop. Somebody need to help me up in here. Well, because he said he gave them in the morning and in the evening. And it don't say where Elijah got tired. So I think he had pork chops today, and tomorrow he got steak playing for him. And some garlic cheese biscuits. You see what I'm saying? So God strategically had plans for Elijah, as Elijah followed his plan. And what you think about that? Elijah didn't have to do nothing for himself. God just provided for Elijah. Elijah was obedient, and God did the rest. Served him. Just think about being in a place where God serves you every day. Where God serves you every day. Now, when you think about how God used, look, but we got our plans, and we so particular about what we want, who we want it from, and all the kind. I don't eat this and I don't eat that. Look, I'm saying deliver me right. And I don't eat that, and I don't want this. And did you wash your hands? And did you clean your toes? And did you wash the dish? Was your kitchen clean? And what's this all the kind? Now look, God let a raven, nasty bird, A scavenger bird feed his servant. When you following God's plan, see, you got to be willing to abandon your plan. You got to forget all about that you don't eat unless your hands wash. Because I'm sure this bird didn't clean his beak after he ate his food just so he can bring you your food. He ate from the scavenger bird's beak every day. Every day. Verse 7. Y'all following it, right? But after a while, the brook dried up. But there was no rainfall anywhere in the land, as I told you, 3 years and 6 months. Look, told you was a brook wasn't a normal stream of water anyway. And then after a while, you can't sustain a brook that is water where it gets its water from rain, and the river when there is no rain, right? So what happens is, let me show you something about God. God never give you the whole plan. He only give you pieces of the plan. He give you what you need for that moment. When we make our plans, we don't plan it all the way out to the end, right? And that's why we get disappointed, because stuff started happening that was not in your written plan, because you didn't know that was going to happen to when you got to that part of the plan. But God knows everything that's going to take place in his plan. So when the brook dried up, God had another door that he had prepared for him to walk through. The brook was temporary. When God is doing different things in our lives, you have to remember that some things in God are just seasonal. It's just for that season. And you have to be following the lead of God, so when you know when to release that season. Because if Elijah was not in tune with God to know what to do next in God's plan, Elijah would have ended up wandering around, and he could have died out there. He could have done anything, could have happened out there. But God had it planned all the way through. God planned, I don't care how seasonal it might seem. Stick with it. Hear God. Don't do nothing until you hear God. There's a song that I love this song so dearly. It said, I won't move till you bless me. I'm staying right here until I hear from you. I ain't going. I'm not going till you bless me. And what happened many times is that we ain't waiting for God to bless me. We going because we ready to go. We got to make sure that we don't mix our plans up with God's plan. You can't start out with God's plan, then you take the helm. Now you start doing because it looked like God, you know what, I knew God was in this because the bird was feeding me. He was bringing me bread and I was able to drink from the brook. But now the brook done dried up and the raven laid. So maybe this ain't God's plan. Now, maybe this is as far as God was going to take me. And now I need to start seeing what I'm going to do next. You see what I'm saying? So what happened is, then I think sometimes God allowed sometimes his plan to come to an end for you, just to look back and see if you're still following him. That's right. Following your plan, God's plan, rather than your plan.